Tomorrow marks the 4-year anniversary of when my life completely changed. And in today's episode, I want to share the details about it and give insight of that story in that particular moment of my life.
Let's go. You are incredible. Your body has a purpose. Your life has a purpose. You were designed to live the best life possible.
Mic check. Mic sound okay? Camera 1 good? Camera 2 good? All right, here we go.
What's going on, my beautiful family? Thank you so much for tuning in. You are tuned in to listen. You're not defeated. And I'm your host, David Hernandez. With every episode, I want to help you live a life of freedom through health in a simple, smart, and sustainable way. If you are new to my YouTube channel, I want to thank you for stopping by and tuning in with us today. And I want to invite you to click the subscribe button and click the little bell so you can get all the notifications of our up and coming episodes so you don't miss an episode. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast station, click the follow button so you get the updates of our new episodes. Remember, every Tuesday, I release a brand new podcast to bring value to your life to help you live a life of freedom. So 4 years ago, tomorrow, my life completely changed. You know, back in 2018, I had the amazing privilege to be invited on a missions trip to Haiti. And in that mission trip, the purpose of it was to go help and minister in the lives of other kids that were in orphanages. We have an amazing friend out there by the name of David Wine, and he has several orphanages, and he partners with other orphanages and other church groups and ministries out there. And the purpose of this, again, was to really go and give back. I am a firm believer in giving back, and in through our doing, we can also demonstrate gratitude, right? Gratitude of life. And depending on what your faith is, I believe that sowing into what we believe in, we can also receive back from that. And so we went to Haiti, and it was an amazing trip. There was amazing opportunities to just bless young kids, and the stories of many of these kids are really painful. Many of these kids have been given up for adoption from a young age. Many of them didn't know their parents. A lot of them, their parents were in prostitution, so they were given up and taken in by these orphanages. And God bless these orphanages, because what they do to support these kids is just really incredible. And if you want to know more about my friend David Wine and his support group and his orphanages, I'll put his information there. You can reach out to him if you want to even support him in his cause, right? His information will be there in the description. But these orphanages really take on large groups of kids and men, young boys, and young girls. And again, a lot of these are given up for adoption from even babies, right? From a very, very young age. And they are given the best life possible. And the purpose of these orphanages is to provide health, to provide well-being, to provide a place for them to sleep, a place for them to be fed, but also a place for them to learn and grow. And I think that is really powerful, right? These organizations and these individuals that really just give their life to their calling and to what they do to help others, to support others for the betterment of the future generation, which is these young kids in Haiti. And look, I was really impacted by the way of life in that country. It is a third world country, and the experience of coming from America and going to this country was very impactful. And it's saddening in most cases to see really how they live. And it really brings a lot of gratitude to be able to reflect and look at, wow, our life is really incredible back home here in America. And the way of life is completely different. And so through these experiences, it was great to be able to just serve, support, and help other kids and play with them, and the joy on their faces to be able to see somebody come to them. And we would take gifts and we would go and do dances with them and speak with them and play games with them and just have fun, and to see the joy in their eyes in these moments, to where they would just jump all over us to just have fun, was like nothing else I ever experienced. And during that time, I was a lot bigger than I am today. I was probably in the biggest physical shape in terms of muscle that I've ever been in my entire life. I was weighing about 240 pounds. I was really big into the bodybuilding scene at that time. I was training heavily. And the goal of my life at that point, the following year, was to compete, hopefully to be able to have the opportunity to compete. And so I would go, and they would love to jump all over. They would want me to carry them in my arm, and they would hold on to my arm and want me to kind of do pull-ups with them and just have a lot of fun. And that experience was very touching. It was very uplifting. It was a moment that I could actually just disconnect from the worlds of my life, right? The struggles and the issues of my life. And it was like out there, it didn't matter. It was just about them and these kids, right? And I went with another group, with a large group of other young teens that went to also be a part of this mission trip. And I remember there was a time where we had it was an event that they were putting together, and they had balloons, and they were doing balloons with animals and things like that. And I'll never forget this young girl that just came and ran into my arms and would just squeeze on to my neck and as I carried her, she would just squeeze my neck and didn't want me to let her go. And every time I would try to put her down, she would cling on me and hold on to me. And the experience to be able to share love, to be able to share and give love to these kids that have just been rejected and abandoned, and many of them have just been discarded as no one, as nobodies. And to be able to go to this place, and they now receiving love from those in the orphanage, and then us coming to be able to connect with them, was extremely incredible. And so after all of those beautiful experiences and just connecting with those kids and being a part of their life, the time came to leave. And so after that, we left, came back to Florida, and continued going on with my daily life. And 5 days later, I started to feel sick. I remember I was training one of my students at the time, one of my clients, and I started to get fever. I started to get body aches. So to me, it was like just a normal cold, like a normal symptoms of cold, or of a cold, or maybe the flu. I thought nothing of it. And I continued. I finished with her. Then I went on to another one of my students who was having a ceremony for an accomplishment that she received. And on my way there, I started to feel worse. I started to get chills. I started to get really bad body aches. I started to get specific muscle pains. I remember it was really in my chest area, in my legs. I started to feel weak. I started to get very tired. I started to get very dizzy. And so after that event that I attended, I don't know how I was able to get home. When I got home, I practically fainted. And I stayed in bed rest. I took some medication, which again, thinking that it was a cold, I took some Tylenol cold and took some basic over the counter medication, and things didn't get any better. And so after several hours, I realized something is happening here, and I probably should go to the hospital. So, amazing friends of mine took me to the hospital. I got there and basically just flopped on the ground, and they rushed me into the hospital there in the emergency room, and they started doing a bunch of different tests. And the doctors were evaluating, and they were asking me a bunch of questions, and told them that I had just came back from Haiti, and they started to go through their normal protocols, drawing blood, taking me in to get CAT scans, doing ultrasounds, the entire works of what they would do to evaluate a person that would come in this condition. They finally admitted me into a room, and they said, "We're going to keep you here for observation. We got to figure out what it is because we don't know what's happening to you." So in that process, they were thinking, well, it could be meningitis. They did a meningitis test. They saying, well, it could just be a really bad case of a flu. It could be maybe some type of virus. So after about 4 to 6 misdiagnoses, they really had no idea what was happening. So I was in the hospital for about 3 days at that point. And I'll never forget, there was a doctor that finally was able to come into the room, and he's like, "Hey, I'm such and such. I have overheard the symptoms that you're going through. I came in from Puerto Rico. I'm in town, and I couldn't help but get your case. And I know exactly what you have." He says, "You have dengue fever and a few other tropical viruses, and you're going to feel like you're going to die." And he said, "And you just might. It really now depends on your body if it wants to live." And he walked out. In that moment, I didn't know what to think. I was laying in bed, no energy, 105 to 106 fever. They could not take it down. They had me on a bunch of different medications. And I literally was at the state and the point in my life that I didn't want to live anymore. I was under so much pain. And then I later came to understand that dengue fever is known as the bone-crushing virus. So it was no wonder I literally felt like my bones were breaking inside, like they were cracking, they were breaking down. And that virus also, what it's known for shutting down your organs, and it's known for it starts to eat up your muscles. So it works from the inside, and it starts to shut everything down. It eats your muscles, eventually getting down to even the bone, right? And during that time, it made sense why I got pneumonia. One of my left lung stopped functioning. My stomach, my digestive system shut down. My organs were shutting down. I couldn't swallow anything. I couldn't drink anything. Anything that I would take in, it would come right out. And I'm going to share some explicit things. I hope it's okay with you. I really just want to be vulnerable to share this story with you. Many of you have heard some of it, a lot of it, but I want to talk about other things that I've never really spoken about. And in this moment, I really was at my breaking point. I remember with those that were with me there in the room, I told them, like, I'm done. I really don't want to live anymore. I was in the state where life really didn't matter to me anymore. I was under so much pain, under so many drugs. They gave me morphine, they gave me Dilaudid, they gave me a bunch of different pretty strong medications to try to just soothe my pain. I remember I was screaming in pain, and the nurses had no clue what else they could do. They would give me dilaudid, and it was supposed to be every 4 hours. Well, after an hour, I was screaming again with more pain, needing more. And so in that moment, after the doctor told me that, I was like, great, this is it. Thank you, God, for the life that you've given me. Thank you for the experiences you've allowed me to live, but this is it. And in that moment, I lost hope. I lost faith. I had no more desires in life. I had no more expectations. I didn't want to live anymore. And it came a point where my prayer was, God, just take me away. Just take me with you. I'm done. I don't want to live anymore. I don't want to continue to be in this situation and in this pain. And so after the doctor said, now it's up to your body if it wants to live, well, my body was in the weakest state it had ever been in. I went from being in the healthiest, in the strongest state that I had ever been in my life, the most muscle that I ever had, just all around the best health I had ever been in. 3 days ago, before that, 3 days after, I'm now laying on what seems to be my deathbed in the weakest state I've ever been. My platelets were down. My red blood count was down. It was bad. Organs shutting down. I was one step away from hemorrhage. My kidneys were starting to shut down. And my body really could not fight, in my opinion. I mean, if it's in its weakest state and there's really nothing else they could do, the doctor said there's nothing we can do. There's no medication we can give you. It's up to your body if it wants to live. My body was at its weakest. I was losing hope. I had no more desires to live. It was like, all right, God, whatever you want, I'm in your hands. And I don't know what your faith is. My faith, being a Christian, I knew that the only one that could decide and determine for me would be God, would be Jesus. And it was, Lord, take my life. That's it. Now it's up to you, whatever you want to do. And I remember just laying in bed. Day 4 came. Day 5 came. Fever after fever, pain, unsleepable nights, tears, screaming, pain. It's all I could remember. And the desire and the hope to just die. Day 6, day 7, nothing changed. Everything seemed to be the same. I lost track of time. I didn't know what day it was. Thanksgiving came. I was in the hospital. My family was far away. I didn't want them to come because I didn't want them to experience and be there in the midst of all of this. Everyone just being concerned for my life. And I remember about day 9, day 10, I somewhat out of nowhere started to slowly feel better. The pain started to slowly go away. The fever started to slowly go away. I didn't have that unbearable bone-breaking muscle aching that I had previously. And I'll never forget, day 11 came and the doctor walked through that door and he said, "You beat it. You have beat dengue fever and all the other tropical viruses that they had yet to know specifically what it was." And so it was dengue fever and 2 other tropical viruses. And I just remember being so grateful. And the doctor said, had it not been that you were so healthy and had so much muscle, there's no way you would have survived. And he congratulated me, gave me a hug, and he walked away and he left. And in that moment, I remember just telling myself, had it not been for God and his infinite mercy and his miracle on my life, and had it not been because I was healthy and had the most muscle that I've ever had, I wouldn't be here today. You know, I really believe in faith. I really believe in the principle of faith. That whatever you choose to believe in and put your trust in and put your faith in, for me, my faith in Christianity and Christ, for you, it might be something else. But there is a higher power, there is a higher source that ultimately, when we trust or when we put our trust in that, faith will activate, and faith can activate and produce miracles. And so for me, I firmly believe that it was God that gave me a second chance at life. It was God's mercy and his gift for me and his grace, his love for me that allowed me a second chance at life. And I believe that those that were also believing for me, the power and agreement that when we come together, that those that love you, that can come together to fight when you might be weak, through their prayers, through their desires for me, through what others might call positive vibes or whatever that might be for you. I believe that it can also uplift and help in the moments when you can't fight for yourself. So as I was leaving the hospital, a lot of things started happening. In those 11 days, I lost about 65 pounds, which was very painful for me. Let's be honest, that was very painful. That was one of the first things I said, oh my gosh. Looked at myself in the mirror. I was like, I'm so thin. I lost so much weight. All my years of building and working hard to get to this place of just being so strong and so fit and just have so much muscle. 11 days gone. I was like, thank you, dengue. Stupid dengue. But it was mixed feelings. Like I had a lot of emotions going. I was happy to be alive. I was grateful, but I was angry because I lost so much weight. I lost so much muscle, but I was thankful that I had the amount of muscle to help me fight and help my body fight and just be here today to share this story with you and share life with all of you. But as I was leaving, not knowing like what's now my life going to look like, what's going to happen, right? I heard this like still small voice in my heart that just said, now that I've given you a second chance at life, what are you going to do with it? And I remember looking around and saying like, what do you mean? What am I going to do with it? Like, I'm going to go out and live and do what I had been doing. See, up until that moment in my life and in what I was doing, pursuing, or the things that I did and helping others through their health journey and helping others in the commitment that I had also made when I was 21 years old, when my best friend died of obesity, I said that I wanted to make sure I helped people avoid them going through what my best friend went through. So at that time, though, I was doing everything kind of very exclusive, very private. I wouldn't share it with many people. I wasn't as vocal and as open as I am now with the podcast and my coaching and everything else that I am now doing. So in that moment, it was like I really wasn't holding my end to that commitment. I really wasn't doing everything that I could to help and support others and do what essentially I believed like God called me to do and which was my purpose to do. And so that still small voice, that statement kind of lingered with me for a long time. Now that I've given you a second chance at life, what are you going to do with it? And I realized I wasn't doing all that I could. I wasn't doing enough. I could be doing more in the things that had been given to me, in the knowledge that had been given to me, in the insight that I have been given to me in terms of health, in terms of weight release, in terms of muscle build, in terms of how to really live a fit and healthy life. I wasn't doing enough with what I had been given. So it was a wake-up call for me to realize, now that I've been given this second chance at life, like I am going to live it to the fullest. Not only in the things that I was doing, but also in the way I was living my life. For years, I was hard on myself. I would judge myself. I would complain. I would criticize. I wasn't as grateful. I wouldn't appreciate things as much. I wasn't enjoying life. I wasn't enjoying family. I was just always just focused on, okay, I got to do more. I got to do more. I got to be better. I got to be better. And just always beating myself up and not enjoying the gift of life that God had given me. And so it really it changed my entire view of life. It changed my entire perspective of life, of myself, of my business, my career, my purpose, of relationships, of experiences in life and everything. And it really got me to a place to change my perspective and change my belief and change my mindset on a lot of things. And so I remember at that time, it was like, okay, you know what? We're going to now start being vocal about what I do. I'm going to start now living life as to the fullest, enjoying, pursuing things that I desire, living out and chasing after dreams and really enjoying this amazing gift. So from there, that's really how Body by Purpose started. Put together the company, Body by Purpose. I started now reaching out, connecting with more people, helping more people, not just on the private sector, but like really reaching out, impacting other community groups, other organizations, talking about what I do, how can I help, and just really starting to spread the knowledge and give value, which is why I'm so passionate about giving value and giving back, because I've been given this opportunity to continue to live and connect with you and meet more people and influence and inspire others to have a life of freedom through health. And the journey began. I went on to also pursue one of my dreams and desires of being an actor. I moved to California, moved to LA, enrolled in a conservatory program, and the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, the best experience I've ever had, changed my life forever, met new people, had incredible relationships, still do have a lot of relationships with a lot of those people, experienced a new life. I just packed my bags into the car and I drove cross country, didn't know what was going to happen, didn't know anybody out there. I just said, God, let's go do this thing. It worked out. I had an amazing experience. And I realized that my life as well, in terms of how I did life and how I did health, completely changed. Because since then, I've battled a lot of secondary side effects, nerve damage. I've battled a lot of muscle damage because of the viruses. My body has become weaker. It's become more fragile. My bone structures had gotten out of place. I remember after we got out of the hospital, I went back after about a month or so to go back to start working out. And I remember I was doing a push-up. Remember, I used to do probably about 100 to 150 push-ups a day at one time without stopping. And I was about to do some push-ups to warm up, and after I did one, the next one I fell on my face. My shoulder hurt, my back hurt, my neck was hurting. And in that moment, everything changed for me in the sense of how I did health, how I lived, how I worked out, because I couldn't train like I did before. In that moment, because of the dengue fever, my muscles and my muscles became so weak that they caused disalignments to happen in my neck, in my scapula, in my shoulders. Disalignments, which then caused nerve pain, which then caused so many skews of secondary side effects. And still today, my friends, what happened? And still today, my friends, 4 years tomorrow, when I was admitted into the hospital, I am still dealing with the side effects from that experience, from that situation. Now, the nerve pain, the unbearable muscle pains that I've had throughout these whole years caused me to now not be able to work out like I used to, which means I lost a lot of muscle. I'm a lot thinner than I was then. I was at 240, now I'm about 170 pounds. It's a big difference. And the way I did health also had to completely change. I had to relearn new forms and methods on how to train. And oftentimes we'll have experiences in life that when they hit us, they can knock us down. And the big key is, what are we going to do when we've fallen? What are we going to do in these moments when everything changes? When you're now depressed because you lost everything that you had worked so hard for? When you are in a lot of pain because of what you've dealt with emotionally, physically. There's a lot of mental battles because your self-confidence is just fallen. There's a lot of negativity that you're speaking about yourself because you're not the same. And oftentimes these situations may want to cause us to just give up and no longer pursue life and no longer be excited about life, no longer want to get back up and keep fighting. And you know, that was me. There were many instances in my life that I was just saying, screw it. I'm not going to be able to be healthy anymore. I'm not going to be able to be in the shape that I desire anymore. I'm not going to be able to have the physique that I've always wanted. I'm not going to be able to enjoy life because I have this pain and because I look at myself in the mirror and I hate what I see. I've lost so much muscle. I've got nerve pain. I can't sleep. I'm always aching. I'm taking painkillers. I'm taking medication. I'm taking nerve pain. I'm always complaining about something. I can't work. I can't sit down because it hurts. I can't lay down because it hurts. I can't walk too long because it hurts. I can't work out because I can't play. I can't do these things that I love to do. Many times I said, screw this. I don't want to chase after my goals anymore. Like, why am I even going to try if it's not going to work out? And I remember crying out, like saying, what the heck, God? Like, now what? Why'd you let this happen? And then the blame game came, right? Until I had to take a moment and really reflect and really look at, okay, David, you can stay in this place feeling sorry for yourself, complaining, judging, shaming, hating yourself, not caring about life, always complaining, giving the remote control of your emotions to all of the things that have happened to you, allowing others to decide and even your negative side to decide what your life is going to look like. You can stay there and achieve nothing and not pursue your purpose and not achieve your goals, or you can learn from this, grow from this, ask yourself, what can I gain from this? How can I get out of this situation? What do I have to do? I can be pliable and allow myself to remold myself and look at, is there something I can learn from this experience? Is there something that this situation can teach me to become better, to grow, to develop new skills, to learn something more about myself, about life, about the body, about health? Because up until then, I was strictly just like literally unilateral. Just everything that I did was very methodical towards bodybuilding. That was it. That was the only thing I really knew. That was the only thing I really desired. And there was so much more of health in the body that I had not discovered, that I was depriving myself from learning and developing and growing. So in those moments, these last 4 years have shifted my life completely. And today, I say that that experience was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. There's so much growth. But had I not changed, until I didn't change my perspective on how I was viewing this and the meaning I was giving this situation that I had lived, because that's really important. Look, there's always going to be circumstances and situations in our life that mark us, that scar us. And in those moments, there's always a meaning that we give. And up until that moment, the meaning of this whole experience was, it's the worst thing that could have ever happened to me. I hate this. It destroyed my life. I got this because of a mosquito bite. Come on. Small little miniature piece of thing that I didn't even know bit me. Which is a weird way of saying that. But it's like, how could that have done what it did to me? So there was a lot of anger, a lot of frustration. However, until I didn't change the meaning I had given that situation, until I didn't change the perspective that I had on that situation, until I didn't start being grateful and have gratitude for what happened, in the sense of now the life that I have, and until I didn't start asking me a series of questions to really start focusing on the positive side of this and find it, even though there might not be. Maybe today you're going through a situation, you're like, there is no good in what I'm living. Okay, can we find something good? Because every situation is always going to teach us something. There's always going to be something good in it if we choose to see it through the right lens, if we choose to take it in the right state of mind, in the right emotional state, in the right emphasis. And so this whole experience taught me to rechange my entire life. It has helped me to learn more about the body, learn more about nerves, learn more about kinesiology, learn more about the facets of the body that I didn't even know. I hired a therapist out of Canada who had an amazing experience, who I'll be doing a podcast with her here coming soon, very soon. I'm excited about having that episode with her. Her name is Christy. And she taught me so much. I learned so much. I learned so much about myself. I learned so much about being kind to myself, about resilience. Because look, it could have been very easy for me to have said, you know what, screw this. I've tried this. Before I met with Chrissy, it was like I tried so many other different things. I got massages. I met with other physical therapists. I met with other doctors. I took medication. I did exams. I got tests done. Nothing. I tried therapy on my own. I did a bunch of different mobility stuff. It was very easy for me to say, okay, I tried everything. It's not working. I guess I'm going to have to stay with this for the rest of my life. I guess this is what my future has for me. I guess this is all that life has for me. I guess I have to live with pain. I guess I have to be under medication for the rest of my life. I guess I just have to deal with this muscle issue that I have. No. I said, no. I made a determination to say, I am not going to let this situation dictate how I'm going to live my life. I am going to decide that. Faith is powerful. So now I activate faith, believing that my situation can change based on who I put my faith in and trusting in. And then I keep chasing after what it is I desire and keep looking for the answers. And so now I can say today, 4 years, tomorrow, starting 4 years, nerve pain, gone. Thank you, God. Muscle fatigue, significantly, almost completely gone, but significantly reduced. Range of motion, range of mobility, completely changed. Soon, I know I'll be able to start working out again. But it took me 4 years to get to this place of fighting, asking questions, going through, searching. It didn't work with this therapist. Let me try this person. It didn't work with this. Let me try that. Getting injections, multiple injections, going through therapy, practicing and learning, doing a bunch of different things, but not quitting, because I was determined to decide how I was going to live my life. And because of that, today I am now able to start experiencing a bit of what my life was somewhat in the past. But I firmly believe, and David Meltzer speaks on this, and I respect a lot of what he says, one of my mentors, and he talks about how when something happens, it means that there's something better on the other side. Something better always awaits you. And I believe it. This experience in this situation has made me better. It has allowed me to grow my business in a way that I never thought would be possible. It has allowed me an opportunity to learn about my body that I had never thought possible that it was even able to do. I've learned about my mind, about my perspective, about faith, about that we literally have the ability to rewire and retrain ourselves to do things that we weren't able to do before. I'm now able to strengthen my body in a totally different way. I've now learned about the power and the benefits of mobility, of correctives, of actual full range of motions, about how to strengthen areas and identify certain things that I had no clue about. So today, my friends, as I come to a close, sharing this experience, this 4-year journey, look, nothing is easy sometimes. The things that we're chasing after may not necessarily be easy. They require resilience. They require perseverance. They require grit and fight and just that spirit of a champion that says, I am not going to quit. Because my commitment was, I am going to live a life of health no matter what. And because I'm healthy, because I've chosen to live this life, because it's who I am, it's my identity, it's who I've chosen to be, I'm not going to let any of these situations stop me from achieving that and continuing to live that way. So learning new ways on how to train and how to still be active and how to be fit and enjoying outdoor things and enjoying skateboarding and enjoying hiking and enjoying so many different things that today I'm able to experience and explore. But because I have chosen to live this life, I found ways to make it possible. But we can't quit. What's our perspective like? What is your perspective like today? What are you believing about yourself? My narrative was, I am strong. I am fit. I am healthy. I am capable. And reminding myself that even in the days when nothing was reflecting that. David, you are strong. You are able. You are willing. You are healthy. You are fit. The more I speak that, the more I'm reaffirming that truth. And then I live it. Even though I wasn't able to do it like I did before, there was still demonstrations of it, of things that I could do. Walking, breath work, swimming, hiking, maybe running. So there was a lot of things I had to learn to fall in love with, which now is the complete makeup of my definition of health. And it's fantastic and it's beautiful. So again, I don't know what situation you might be going through today. I don't know what hardships you've had. I don't know what traumas you might have gone through. I don't know what painful circumstances you lived. But what I do know is that we can make our situation today better. We can learn from these experiences. We can gain something from it. We can, if we choose, to continue to pursue the life and the person we desire to be and live as. So today, I just want to invite you. What's your perspective of life? What is your perspective of self? What is your belief of self? What are the words you speak to yourself? What is your narrative? Because based on that is what will be manifesting. And if it's not in the place you want it to be, we can change that. We can truly change that. My life is a testimony of that. My life is a reflection of that. And each day, I'm striving to continue to be the best version of myself I can be. And you have that opportunity as well. With each day that you wake up, with each breath that you can take, we have that opportunity, that gift from God. So I really just want to encourage you. Don't quit. Don't give up. Be resilient. Because if God can get me out of this deathbed that I was in, and if I can each day keep chasing after and not quit to get to the place of the life that I desire, you can too. You have all the potential inside of you. Everything you need is inside of you. It's been given to us by the Creator. Have faith, trust, and let's be resilient towards or chasing after the life that we desire. Let's become, let's be, and let's live, because you can do it. I hope this was helpful. Share your thoughts. Let me know what you thought in the comment section. If you have any questions or are going through any struggles or situations that you'd just like to share, allow me to connect with you and just maybe bring some hope or some inspiration, or maybe give some advice in any way that I can. Look, you can drop it in the comment section here. If you're watching me on on my YouTube channel, or you can shoot me an email, david@davidhernandez.co, david@davidhernandez.co. You can find it right here at the bottom somewhere on this video. Go ahead and shoot me an email. I'd love to connect with you. And if we haven't already connected on social media, let's do so. I want to connect. I'd love to meet you and just support you through this journey of finding freedom in life through health. Let's do that. You can find me on all social media handles under my name, my @name, @Dave K. Hernandez. That's my handle, @Dave K. Hernandez. You'll find it there at the bottom as well. Let's connect. Shoot me a message, and I would love to be a part of your community and your life as well. And if you want to know more about me, of how I help my students, of how I help other corporations and individuals find a life of freedom through health, you can visit my website, www.davidhernandez.co. That's davidhernandez.co. Connect there. There's a way that we can also connect. If you want to have a conversation, you can book a call there with me. But more importantly, I just want to continue to be of resource for your life. Every Friday, if you haven't already joined my community, in the link there in the description, you'll find all the information on how you can join my community. Every Friday, I do free Friday trainings. It's just simply an opportunity for us to connect, again, to give you value. First 30 minutes, I bring a teaching topic. I'll have sometimes guests. I'll have different resources there in that first 30 minutes. The next 30 minutes will be to answer your questions. So again, if you have questions, you can email them to me, david@davidhernandez.co, or you can send them to me through social media as well. Those questions I'll answer. But join this community. You'll have the link there in the description. Just click the link and register. Why register? So that you can take action. I believe in action taking. And when you take action towards something, something happens. We activate something. There's something that is activated within us, and it also commits us to the journey that we are chasing after, or the life that we are chasing after. So click the link, and I hope to see you there on Fridays. So thank you again for tuning in. Thank you for joining me on this channel. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast station, thank you so much for listening. And if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, do so. I invite you to do that. You can do it by clicking the subscribe button, and also click the little bell so you can get all the notifications of our up and coming episodes. And if you are listening to me on your favorite podcast station, click the follow button so you don't miss an episode. Remember, you can find my podcast on all podcast stations under Listen, You're Not Defeated. Listen, You're Not Defeated, or under my name, David Hernandez. Thank you so much, my beautiful family, for connecting with me, for being a part of today's episode. And I just want to remember you are incredible. Go out, crush it, and live your best life. I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.